What we're going to talk about next is how we tack a horse in the cross ties or in his tack area. Normally we don't cross tie our horses. We want our horses to ground tie like Apollo is here. This is Monroe Miller, our head horseman here at Windy Hill Farm. And we're going to walk through the process here of how we tack a horse. It's very important to try to do this the same way every day and be very consistent about it. Make this process very comfortable. Make it to where it's a relaxed procedure. Now Monroe has already prepared his horse to be tacked. He's curried him and brushed him. He's put mane conditioner in his mane and tail, and he's checked underneath his girth area there for mud and dirt and any debris, and now he's got him ready and prepared to put the saddle on. So if you'll notice, we don't put our saddles on the ground. We don't use a saddle rack. It's just we hang our saddle on that rope right there, okay? And he's going to check the bottom of his pad, make sure there's no debris or burrs or anything under there to irritate his back. Now I want you to watch how he picks his saddle up and how he holds it, okay? This is a very important procedure right here. Notice he's got his rigging and everything hooked up right here like this, okay? He's got his breast collar hooked around here just like that, okay? So when he holds that saddle with this hand right here and that hand, see where his elbow is right here, that allows him to hoist that saddle with less effort. Ergonomically, that allows him to not have to lift as high, okay? So now watch how he'll hoist that, and he's going to set that saddle right up on that horse's back like he's putting his hat on his head. It's like that. Okay. And notice how he adjusts his saddle and his pad, make sure everything's in order. But I want you to see how snugly that saddle fits on that horse's back before he even tightens it up. Look at that. Okay. So that tells us we've got a good fit right there. If that saddle would have wobbled around, or say if we come right here and underneath the pommel right here would hit his withers, we know we got a problem. Okay. But if you look at this saddle right now, it looks like it belongs there. Okay. Look how he's got his latigo stored. Okay. So he does. Okay. So I'll step back here and I'll let Monroe come over here, Brandon, and watch how he unhooks.
This is how I got the rigging up. Store it. Got the front fin, hang the front fin to the front fin, and you hook it up to the keeper here. So I'll undo that. Drop it down. I like to make sure I got the right length here before I go on the other side. I know about what I needed. I like this little ring here to be right in the middle, underneath.
We like to use a urethane girth like that because we're able to sanitize it. And particularly this time of year when it's real wet, you know, it doesn't soak up moisture and harbor bacteria and fungus.
Make sure all your saddle screens are hanging down nice, down underneath the saddle. Go on the other side. Step them over here a little bit. Now the latigo, when I undo it, I'll take the knot out here, and I'll reach underneath with my left hand, get my pin, bring it up, get the end of the latigo, put it in the ring, and way I put it up is I take it out like this, go up the back side with my latigo, and I don't pull it through all the way. Just want about half, about a third, and then 2/3, and then I tie that knot in there to keep it from coming out. That's the easiest way I found to do it. So when I go to tack, I take the knot out. When it's good, just pull on it, pull in. So now I'm just gonna, I ran it through one time, came up, went through the top ring, went back down. I'm just gonna snug it up to where the saddle stays on there until right before I get on. There we go. Not very tight. Take this, the end of the latigo, and run it through the keeper. Get the flanks in. I like to have my flanks in snug so I can get my finger in, but they're still, I don't want to hang it down 3-4 inches. I want it up against the gutter. So I like that. And I'll get the breast collar, unhook it from this side, reach around, grab it, turn around. You don't want that too tight to where it's going to affect their movement, but you want it snug. You don't want to hang it down here on below the shoulder point, so you want it right above the shoulder point here. Yeah, so about like that.
But see how he can move his head where you don't cut his wind off either, see? That's another problem you can get into if it's too high.
So that's how we tack the horse here. So.
All right, couple things I want to show you before we go out. We ride all of our horses in complete tack, okay? Where we ride with the breast collar like this, your girth, and your back cinch. And the reason for that is that all those things are there for a purpose. They're there for safety, and they're there to divert pressure off of that girth, where when I go up a hill, it's going to divert pressure from that saddle pulling back on that girth. When I go down a hill, that's going to keep that saddle from tipping forward, okay? Everybody calls that a bucking strap. No, it's not a bucking strap. That's there for a purpose. And if you don't have a back girth on your horse and your horse won't go with a back girth, you got a problem, okay? You need to get that worked out. And we feel if you ride a horse without these breast collar and the back girth, it's kind of like you wearing flip-flops to work. I mean, you're not going to get anything done. I mean, you're not fully arranged. Where, you know, I've got a belief that if you're going to work, you need to wear your work clothes. You don't need to be wearing Sunday clothes to work. And this is work gear here, okay? This is high quality, made in USA, good leather. It's been oiled properly, and it is used in a way that when we go to rough country and rough terrain, we're going to be safe on our horse. As he goes up that hill, his stomach contracts and he tenses up. Well, that loosens that girth. Well, if you go up a hill, that saddle will slide back under that circumstance. Well, that breast collar will keep that saddle from sliding back, because when he gets back up to the top of the hill, he's going to exhale then and relax, and then this will be back about another inch or so, and then it'll be too tight, because see, his stomach gets bigger the further it goes back. So it's very important to keep that saddle in place. When you get out here on steep hills and crossing creeks and in the mud and different things, it's very important that you be completely tacked. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to very lightly tighten that girth, just enough to keep the saddle on. and then we're going to walk him forward about 20-30 feet. It's a very important point right here. If I stand right here and I pull this tight, okay, that's over tightening my girth. That girth should not be that tight. You should tighten this girth just about like you would tighten the shoelaces on your shoes. Okay, that's a good way to think about it. But what we're going to do, we're going to walk this horse about 30 feet forward now in our next video. But the reason we're doing that is because I want this saddle to arrange itself in this horse's back. So as this is loose, as he's walking, this saddle arranges itself in its back, in its right spot. Okay, I don't want to tighten that girth with the saddle in the wrong spot. All right, I don't want to tighten this saddle and step in that stirrup with that girth right there, with that skin wrinkled underneath that girth, because that's why they get cinchy and they don't want you to get on, and they get anxious when you go to get on because it pinches. Okay, so as he walks, that skin's going to stretch out, it's going to smooth out, this saddle's going to nestle itself in its perfect spot. Then before you step on, pull your girth up. So now what we'll do in our next video, we're going to leave from this point and we're going to go out and mount and dismount.